All right, let's dive in. Today we're tackling Time Regained, the grand finale of Proust's In Search of Lost Time.
Ah, yes. Proust. A challenge, but a rewarding one, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. It's like climbing a literary mountain, but the view from the top, breathtaking. We're going to try to unpack why this book is so powerful, so moving, even bring some folks to tears.
Right, right. It's almost like Time Regained holds a key to understanding, well, not just the whole novel, but maybe even life itself.
Ooh, I like that. A key. And we're fortunate to have Proust's own words as our guide, along with some interesting takes from Ima and the books on YouTube. Gives us a fresh look.
Fantastic resources, because Time Regained is all about bringing everything together, isn't it? It ties all those threads from the whole novel, sheds new light on everything.
Yeah, I get the feeling that Proust might have had the ending in mind from the start, almost like he was working backward, carefully constructing this whole journey towards the final reveal.
You know, you're right. And when you think about it, Proust was racing against time, literally, battling a serious illness. He knew he had to finish this massive work. You can almost feel that urgency in Time Regained, a bit quicker pace than the earlier books.
Definitely. There's this one line that really hit me. The true life, life finally discovered and illuminated, the only life fully lived, is literature. Whoa, just whoa.
Yeah. Powerful stuff, speaks volumes about the connection Proust saw between the life, time, and writing. It's as if he's saying art is the truest expression of our being.
Speaking of time, one thing that jumped out at me in Time Regained is how Proust captures a society, well, in a state of flux, especially with World War I shaking things up. It wasn't just about battles. The war touched every part of life.
Absolutely. And Proust picks up on those subtle changes. He shows us how fashion was affected, designers using war materials, or how the war changed relationships, especially for homosexual men. So many potential partners gone.
It's like he's saying, even in the midst of global chaos, life goes on, adapts, even in ways we might not expect. It reminded me of that scene with Madame Verdurin calmly enjoying her croissant and coffee while reading about the Lusitania tragedy.
Oh, yeah. Classic Proust, using those small details, those jarring contrasts, to show us something deeper about human nature. It's almost like we can compartmentalize even the most awful things to keep a sense of normalcy.
Makes you think, how do we react to disturbing news today? Do our actions always match our outrage?
It does, doesn't it? That's what makes Proust so relevant, always prompting us to look at ourselves, at the world, with fresh eyes. And speaking of change, we see it in the characters themselves. Familiar faces from the earlier books pop up in Time Regained, but they've been, well, transformed by time, sometimes in surprising ways.
Yeah, like watching one of those time-lapse videos of flowers blooming and then wilting. Some have aged gracefully while others, time hasn't been so kind.
The downfall of Baron de Charlus, for example, once a figure of power and respect, now caught in this downward spiral, moral and physical decay. It's almost as if Proust is using him to symbolize the decay of an entire social order.
Like the old world with its strict rules and hidden desires is crumbling right before our eyes.
Exactly. And Proust doesn't shy away from the darker sides of human nature, even if it makes us squirm a bit. Like that scene with Charlus and, well, that sadomasochistic encounter.
Yeah, even for Proust, that felt a little over the top.
It did push the boundaries, even in Proust's world, but it serves as a stark reminder that people are complex, full of hidden depths and their desires, often masked by a veneer of respectability.
And then there's Madame Verdurin. What a journey she's had, starting as a social climber with those almost second-rate sarons, and by Time Regained, she's Princess Garante. Quite the transformation.
Brilliant, really. It's Proust showing us how the lines blurred between the aristocracy and the rising bourgeoisie in that era. Madame Verdurin's rise isn't just personal ambition, it reflects a larger societal shift.
Proust was amazing at capturing those nuances, wasn't he?
He was. Incredible eye for detail and this ability to connect those details to the bigger picture. And speaking of connections, that brings us to one of the most important parts of Time Regained, the power of art and memory. Remember the scene where the narrator returns to Paris after years in a sanatorium? He's at the Gramonts' party, feeling lost, and then
He stumbles on that uneven pavement outside the mansion, and bam, his entire past comes flooding back. Just like the Madeline episode from Swan's Way, those involuntary memories.
that's it. Those little, seemingly insignificant moments become portals to the past, holding the key to understanding time and the purpose of art.
It's like those 40 pages in Time Regained, like a mini book within the book where the narrator has this epiphany.
Absolutely. It's like Proust is giving us his artistic manifesto through the narrator. Art isn't just beauty or entertainment. It's about capturing the essence of time, of lived experience.
And the way he puts it, Only through art can we get outside of ourselves and know what another person sees in a universe which is not the same as ours, and of which, without art, the landscapes would remain as unknown to us as those that may exist on the moon. Just beautiful.
Proust at his best. Art isn't just pretty pictures. It's a tool to understand the vastness of human experience, the parts of ourselves and others we might never otherwise know.
Like art lets us explore those uncharted territories of human consciousness, those hidden landscapes.
Exactly. And Time Regained gives us a glimpse into one of those landscapes, shaped by time, memory, and the power of art to make sense of it all.
This has been so insightful. We've covered a lot of ground in this first part of our deep dive into Time Regained.
We have, but there's more to come.
Welcome back. Before the break, we were talking about how art can reveal those hidden landscapes of human experience. And it got me thinking about how Proust uses art to explore, well, the theme of time, especially in that scene at the Bal de Tête.
Right, the bal de têtes. Everyone's in masks, but not just any masks, These masks, they represent how time itself, it changes us. It's like seeing the characters through a distorted lens, their looks, their features, all altered, almost caricatured by the years.
Exactly. It's such a powerful way to show how time affects us, sometimes subtly, sometimes dramatically. You can't escape it. Doesn't matter how rich or famous you are. But then there's Odette. She seems to defy time, looking almost untouched. It's a bit unsettling, almost eerie.
Yeah, it is. Everyone else shows the wear and tear of life, but Odette, she's frozen in time, perfectly preserved.
Makes me think of those celebrities who never seem to age. Is it real? Or just smoke and mirrors? A carefully crafted illusion.
Interesting point. Makes you wonder what Proust was trying to say about Odette's agelessness. Is it a good thing or a bad thing? Is she really transcending time, or is she stuck, trapped in some kind of artificial state?
It's almost like she made a deal with the devil, trading something essential for eternal youth.
Maybe. And this contrast between Odette's unchanging beauty and everyone else aging highlights one of Proust's main points, right? Time's passage, it's most obvious in the physical changes it brings, but that's only part of the story.
Right. It's more than wrinkles and gray hair. It's about how time shapes our experiences, relationships, our whole understanding of the world.
Exactly. And talking about relationships, there's that poignant scene with the narrator and Obete, now a teenager, at the ball.
She really embodies how time passes, doesn't she? She's the merging of Swan and Odette's worlds, two social circles that the narrator used to see as totally separate.
Absolutely. She's a living symbol of how time, it blurs those boundaries, connects things that seem unrelated, shows us how everything's ultimately connected. And through these encounters, these glimpses into the past and present, the narrator starts to grasp the real power of time, how it affects memory.
And that leads us to this crucial moment where the narrator, realizing his own mortality, feels this urgency to capture the essence of life through writing. It's like a wake-up call. Time is running out. He needs to preserve these memories, these fleeting moments, before they vanish.
Yeah. It's not just about preserving the past, though, is it? It's about understanding what it means, how it affects us now, how it shapes the future. You could even say Time Regained itself is Proust's way of fighting back against time's destructive power.
He's pouring everything he's learned, everything he's lived, into this monumental work, creating something that goes beyond the limits of time and space.
And the title Time Regained, it takes on this deeper meaning, right? It's not just remembering the past, it's about reclaiming it through art, making it permanent, defying time's relentless march.
It's like he's saying that even though time moves forward, we can still reach the past through memory and art. And by doing that, we can regain something we thought was lost.
I love that. Remaining time isn't about turning back the clock, it's about making the past part of the present. Understanding how it shapes us, using that understanding to create something new and meaningful.
Makes me think about those little moments in our own lives that we treasure, those small things that become precious over time. A childhood memory, a conversation with someone we love, a feeling, a scent. These things make up the tapestry of our lives, and art helps us hold on to them, to revisit them, to share them with others.
That's beautiful. Really speaks to the power of art to connect us to ourselves, to each other, to the larger human experience.
And that's what Proust does so brilliantly in Time Remained. He takes these ordinary details, these fragments of memory, and turns them into this profound exploration of time, consciousness, the meaning of life.
And it's not just about big philosophical ideas, it's also about the small, everyday things that make a life. The taste of a madeleine, the sound of a bell, the feel of uneven pavement underfoot. Proust reminds us it's these moments, these sensory experiences that really matter.
And that's what makes Time Regained so relatable. Even though it's set in a world so different from our own, it's about those universal things, searching for meaning, dealing with time, finding beauty in unexpected places.
You got it. Proust wasn't just writing about his own time and place. He was writing about being human, about the things that connect us all, no matter our background or circumstances.
He shows us life is a journey through time, a journey filled with joy and sorrow, beauty and loss. And art, it can help us navigate that journey, understand its complexities, find meaning even in the fleeting moments.
It's like that quote from Emma and the Books. They said, "If you believe that reality doesn't exist because everyone has their own perception, how do you connect with others? Only through art."
Really insightful. Art becomes this bridge between our individual experiences. It allows us to step outside ourselves and connect with what's going on inside other people. And in doing so, we broaden our understanding of the world, our place in it.
Absolutely, and I think that's one of the most important messages of Time Regained. Art can help us go beyond our limited viewpoints and connect with something larger than ourselves.
It's been fascinating exploring these ideas with you. Before we wrap up this deep dive, I want to take a moment to think about everything we've talked about. What are some of the key takeaways that have resonated with you? You know, it's funny, as we're wrapping up Time Regained, I keep thinking about that idea, art as a bridge between how we each see things. It just seems so powerful, especially with how Proust explores time and memory.
It is, isn't it? Proust really shows how time just slips away, how memories, they fade and get distorted, and how we see the world. Well, it's always changing, but art, in a way, it's like a chance to hold on to those moments, like freezing them in time and going back whenever we want.
It's like that quote, the one about art allowing us to see landscapes that would otherwise remain as unknown to us as those that may exist on the moon. So through art, we can explore those hidden landscapes, of memories and what we've lived through, but also the landscapes of others. It helps us understand the world better, and ourselves too.
Exactly. And it's not just about understanding, right? It's about feeling it, connecting, and recognizing that we're all human despite our differences.
Which takes us back to that idea of time regained as a kind of map for navigating time. We're not actually going back in time, but we are using art to explore the past and to see how it affects us now and maybe even get a glimpse of the future.
It's like Proust gives us this incredibly detailed map, full of twists and turns, hidden paths, and these amazing views. He's not giving us the answers, though. He's inviting us to explore, to search for meaning in our own way, based on our own experiences.
And isn't that what makes Time Remained and the whole In Search of Lost Time so relevant even now? Proust wasn't just writing about his own life. He was tackling those big questions about what it means to be human, about time, memory, love, loss, searching for meaning.
Yeah, the questions, they don't go away. They're just as relevant today as they were back then. And the way he writes, it's both thought-provoking and really moving. He pushes us to think critically, to look at how we see things, and to appreciate just how amazing and complex life is.
He reminds us that even though time keeps moving forward, we can still shape our own stories. We can find meaning in the past and make something beautiful and lasting out of those fleeting moments.
And maybe that's the biggest lesson from Time Remained, this sense of hope that even though time never stops, there's always something new to discover, to understand, to create.
It's been amazing exploring all of this with you. I hope our deep dive into Time Regained has sparked your curiosity, made you want to explore Proust's world for yourself.
Me too. Proust's work, it's a gift that keeps on giving. Every time you read it, there's something new to find.
And remember, if life's a journey through time, maybe art is the map that helps us figure it out, helps us find meaning even in those little moments that pass so quickly.
That's a great way to put it.
Thanks for joining us. And until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep looking for those moments of clarity that make life worth living.